Father stars Anthony Hopkins, Olivia Colman, and Olivia Williams, and is directed by Florian Zeller. I hope that's how you pronounce that name. I hope I'm not butchering it. And the movie tells a story about an elderly father who deals with dementia. And instead of going the route I feel like most filmmakers would take by telling this story through the eyes of someone who's witnessing an elderly patient go through dementia, this film takes the brave and interesting choice of telling the story through the eyes of the father who is going through dementia. So we, the audience, get to experience as best we can, as told by a film, kind of like what memory loss and dementia is like, what it feels like. When I first heard about this movie, it immediately grabbed my attention. Just on that premise alone, seeing an elderly father go through dementia, being told by his perspective, I thought to myself, okay, that sounds kind of interesting. It's something I would want to experience. And I didn't watch a single trailer for this movie. I didn't look up any promotional stuff. The only thing I knew was that Anthony Hopkins was in this movie. And I knew that the film kind of premiered last year during the COVID-19 virus. It played at a festival. I forgot what name the festival was, but it played virtually. And so there were already critics' reviews for this movie, and people had already seen the movie. And I made a point that I really wanted to check this movie out when it premiered a couple weeks ago this year. So even though the film initially premiered last year at festivals, most theaters around the US didn't get to premiere this movie until a couple weeks ago in 2021. So technically this does count as a 2021 movie. And I'm so happy to say this is by far the best film I've seen in 2021. When this movie ended, I was in utter silence, just by what this movie showed and how brilliantly it told its story. Like I mentioned earlier, it's told through the perspective of the father who's going through dementia. So I was really curious to see how it was going to tell that story, because you would think that sounds like it could be really confusing for the audience. And at first, it could be. I'm not going to lie. The first time it showed how they were telling the story through this father's perspective, it did throw me off a little bit. In some scenes, I kind of got jumbled up a little bit, but this film requires you to pay full attention. This is not a movie that you could just casually watch on a Sunday afternoon with some friends or your family to just kill like an hour and 40 minutes. Every little bit of detail matters in this movie, and I like that this movie took that route, because this movie could have easily have just been a drama about a father who deals with dementia as told by someone that's witnessing it. You know, it could have easily have turned into a movie that could be, you could just watch it and just waste an hour and 40 minutes or a couple of hours, but it took the bold choice of telling it through the perspective of the father who's going through dementia, made all the difference in the world for this movie. I'll give an example of what I'm talking about, and this is the only thing that's going to be kind of considered spoiler. I don't really consider it spoiler because I believe it was in the trailers. But if you don't want to know, then take this as a very slight spoiler warning. So the daughter, played by Olivia Colman, is taking care of her father, played by Anthony Hopkins. And while the scene's going on in the beginning, the first sign we get of how they're telling this story is that the next time we see the daughter, it's now played by Olivia Williams. And of course, Anthony Hopkins sees this as a completely different person. He doesn't recognize his daughter. Olivia Williams is playing his daughter just as a different person. She's saying, "Dad, it's me. I don't understand what you're talking about." It was very unique because, again, most filmmakers wouldn't take this approach because it could throw people off and essentially turn people off from a movie like this. So other actors are playing the same character in the movie, and they're interchanging in certain scenes, and, you know, that's how Anthony Hopkins' character is seeing it. He's seeing them as a completely different person, even though it's the same person. Also, a few scenes got repeated, just kind of like in a different part of the movie. It's hard to explain. There's a dinner scene between Anthony Hopkins, his daughter in the movie, and his daughter's husband in the movie. And they're talking about possibly putting Anthony Hopkins in a home. Well, they eat dinner. There's more scenes of dialogue that happen. Anthony Hopkins goes into the kitchen, and then his daughter in the movie and her husband are exchanging the same line of dialogue that we heard earlier in the scene. So when Anthony Hopkins comes back into the scene, it's kind of picking up where the scene first picked up in the beginning. It's hard to explain. This movie can be considered really trippy if you're not paying attention. And that's seriously the best way I can describe it, and I wish I could like show clips of what I'm talking about because it's easier shown than explained, which is why it took me a while to review this movie. I thought to myself, how am I going to review this movie? It's going to be so hard to explain what I'm talking about. And even just now, explaining that scene, I'm thinking to myself, are people going to understand what I'm talking about? It's more visually that you have to see what's going on. And that's another thing I respected about this movie, because even though we're given the exposition dialogue that we're supposed to be given, it's all told mainly visually, which was pretty smart writing, if you ask me. Because again, characters could have easily been explaining what's going on instead of showing what's going on, which, you know, movies are visual art. They're mainly show, don't tell. And this film did that pretty well. And do I even need to say that Anthony Hopkins is great in this movie? I mean, he's nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars, which, by the way, I hope he wins. Because after seeing the movie, oh my god, this was more than just a performance. This was an experience that Anthony Hopkins made a point. That you can tell he made a point in his performance. That he's doing a lot more than just performing a scene for a movie. I'm so glad he's nominated for Best Actor, and I really, really hope he wins. If I was a part of the Academies, he would instantly have my vote. Olivia Colman, an actress I'm not too familiar with, but great performance in this movie. I'm not sure if she's nominated for Best Supporting Actress. I'd have to look into the full list of Oscar nominations, but I would definitely nominate her. She gave a very raw performance. In fact, that's what I can call this entire movie as a whole. It's raw. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. It feels so real. There were so many scenes in this movie where I was choked up, emotional, and even teared up, especially at the end of the movie. Now, I'm not going to give away what happens at the end of the movie, but it's safe to say that I teared up and I cried because it was very emotional, very well done. And I just sat, when the movie ended, I just sat in my seat in utter silence. Everyone else got up and left, and I just sat there because I wanted everything that I saw to sink in with me. I didn't just want to drive home right away and, you know, have thoughts go through my head while I'm driving. No, I just wanted just like silence by myself to just let everything sink in. And once it did sink in, I immediately declare this the best movie I've seen all year. I haven't seen much movies this year, but this movie has some competition for other movies that are coming out this year because, my God, I loved this movie so much. And I don't have a single flaw with this movie. I was going to review this movie the next day I saw it, but with trying to figure out how I was going to review it and explain certain things without actually showing it, and, you know, trying to figure out, like, did I actually have a flaw with the movie? I came to the conclusion that I don't. This is as perfect as a drama can get, in my opinion. The performances are outstanding. I really hope Anthony Hopkins wins Best Actor. He definitely has my vote. The movie's written is brilliant. The way the movie is shot is excellent. Everything is top-notch in this movie. And I really want people to go see this movie because it's definitely worth it. It's not just your average blockbuster movie that we're going to get a lot of this year because movie theaters are going to make up for what didn't show in theaters last year. But this movie snuck into the theaters as just a drama, a simple drama that is told so unique and so engaging that I really hope more people see this movie. And of course, The Father is Oscar worthy. I don't have a single flaw with this movie. This is a tough movie to get through for some people, and maybe this movie could be considered therapeutic if there's anyone out there that has dealt with a loved one that has dementia or a different type of memory loss. But even for me, like someone who hasn't dealt with a situation like that, some scenes were really hard to watch and really got me choked up, but it's definitely an experience that is well worth it. So that concludes my review for The Father. Guys, if you have seen this movie, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section, just like always. And are you hoping Anthony Hopkins wins Best Actor? Because I sure hope he does. Whatever your thoughts on all that is, let me know down in the comments. And just like always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I got a lot more videos planned very soon. I want to see the Courier, however you pronounce that movie, with Benedict Cumberbatch. I want to see that movie this week. I want to see Nobody. That comes out this weekend. That looks really fun. So look forward to at least 2 videos coming this week or this weekend, whenever I plan to do it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. and I will see you all next time.